There are a lot of AI writing tools out there, and many of them are quite good. And I recently came across a new AI content tool that is actually still in beta. But I was able to get in and try this out, and I was really surprised at not only how different this tool is from all of the other tools that I have seen on the market thus far, but also just the output that it gives you. And so I knew that this was something that I had to share with you. So I want to show you here why this tool is actually different than any of the other ones that I have come across. I want to give you a behind the scenes look so you can see what this looks like, but most importantly, the quality of the content that it is producing. And then we're going to look at some pros and cons so you can decide if this tool is actually going to be the best fit for you based on your own content goals. Now, the tool that we're going to be talking about is called Content at Scale. And just as the name suggests, they're really focusing on blogs that really want to be able to scale their content. They want to be able to publish more frequently. Even Google has come out with their helpful content update, showing that they really want in-depth, helpful content for the visitors. But they've also come out and shared that they like authoritative websites. And they've shown that even when you don't have a lot of blog posts, it's hard to see your website as authoritative. And that's really where Content at Scale comes in. Now, really one of the biggest reasons why Content at Scale is different is that if you look at some of the other AI writing tools, what they do is they help you to create content one section at a time. And it requires your input at each of those sections, so it can take a bit more time to do. But Content at Scale is actually so simple that you can take a single long tail keyword, you pop it in, you hit go, and you wait about 5 minutes and it produces an entire blog post for you. This will actually produce a long form blog post, sometimes 1,500 or more words, because it actually is looking at how many words that you need in order to actually rank and compete against the top performing web pages for that particular keyword. It's also going to write the title for you, the meta description, the intros and outros, all at the same time. And within the content, it's creating a table of contents for you. It is creating your subheadings, bulleted lists, FAQs, and even a call to action. Now, why Content at Scale is able to do this differently and better than the other tools that you're finding out there is that they actually use this whole mix of these 3 AI engines and 2 natural language processing and semantic analysis algorithms. So all that jargons to mean is that, well, they're levels above the rest. So the quality that they're able to produce for you is amazing. Oh, and one thing that I forgot to mention that probably is one of the best things is that there is 0 learning curve, because you simply just have to put in the long tail keyword and then hit go, and that's all that it needs. Where a lot of these other tools, I'm finding they actually do good work, but there's a bit of learning curve. You have to try to test it out, see what really works. You have to watch video tutorials, all trying to figure this out. So let me take you into the dashboard and literally show you in just a minute how quickly this creates the content for you and what it all looks like. Now, the very first thing that you'll need to do is to set up a project. So this will be a one-time thing where you'll pop in the project name and you'll want to pop in the URL of the website. Now, you can also put in project context. Now, you don't have to do that. However, they do recommend that because that is what they use for all of the posts that you're going to be creating to help shape the content that is being written. But also I mentioned that they add call to actions at the bottom of the content. And so this also helps them shape that content as well. And lastly, you can put in a number of monthly posts. So what this will do is on your dashboard, this is going to give you a little progress bar to show you how far along you are in creating all the content for that month. So once we pop this in, we'll click Create Project. And now this is going to ask us what keyword we want to rank for. So now this is where we're going to actually create the post. So I'm going to pop in a keyword here. Now there's 2 options actually. You can enter one keyword here, or you'll notice another option here is that you can upload a CSV file. So let's say, for instance, you've gone over to SEMrush or whatever SEO tool that you use, and you export a CSV file with all of the keywords that you want to rank for and you don't yet have content for. Well, you can create a CSV file, go ahead and just upload that here. What that is going to do is it will go ahead and create all of the content at one time for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at creating one post at a time, but this is a way that you can upload 20 keywords and get 20 posts if you want to, all at the same time, which is amazing. So here we're going to pop in a keyword. And then it says additional context. Now this is again something that you don't have to do, but if you want to talk about any of the topics that are going on, the problems, the solutions, any of this, to give them more information, this is going to help them just customize it a bit more. So this is one reason why it is good to look at entering the keywords one by one instead of using the CSV option right now, because you can't add this. So we're going to create content now. So now this takes us to our dashboard. We can see how many posts we have, how many are published, scheduled, all of that to see our status. And we're going to be able to see this by project, so you can set up different projects here. So right now we have one keyword that's been added, but they're working on it right now. Now this post is going to probably take, give or take, about 5 minutes to be created. Now this is longer than some of the other tools, but the reason that this is taking longer is because they're using so much more than the other tools to create this high quality content for you. And again, it's just a few minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this here while that's doing its thing. And then as soon as it's available, I'll come back and then we'll open that together and have a look. Now a little bit of time has passed here and we can see that we have the title here. It's actually added a title beyond just the keyword that we added. And the edit button is now blue, so we can go on in. So let's take a look at what it has for us. We have the title that it's given us, which we can just click this edit button if we want to change it at all. Best books on web design, how to choose the right one for you. So not bad. The URL slug, best books on web design. So typically it's going to take your keyword and use it as the slug. That's just the best practice. Meta description, and it's written for us. If you're looking for the best books on web design, so it uses the keyword, that's good. Look no further. This list of essential reads covers everything from typography to user experience. So beautiful. Now we have over here some metrics. We have the number of words. So we have nearly 1,600 words that's written for us this quickly on this post. And it was recommending that we needed about 1,100 to 1,200 in order to be able to rank. So that's wonderful. We have 7 headings that it's included, and we'll come back over here to this in a minute because I do want to show you this. But let's take a look at the content. When it comes to web design books, there are a lot of different options out there, and with so many choices, it can be hard to know which one is right for you. That's why we put together this list of the best books on web design. Whether you're looking for a comprehensive guide to everything from typography to user experience, or just want some inspiration for your next project, these books have something for everyone. So far it's easy to read, it just flows, it sounds very natural. This is great. So it's a nice intro here. Next up, we have a table of contents, the best books on web design, how they created this list, what qualifies a book to be on the list, why you should read these books, the different types of books. Honestly, I wouldn't have come up with all of those to put on the post if I was writing this by myself about the best books on web design. So that's really nice. So we have the best books here. As you can see, it puts in bold, the actual keyword here. So it's doing some things to actually optimize the post for you. It has the subheadings. It's actually listing the names of some of these books. So I'd want to just go look it up and just make sure it's pulling some of the good books there, but it looks like we have about 5. And then look at this, it puts in this box here of a key takeaway. So this is something that's very important when you are ranking, is also you want to keep the visitors on the page. And so doing things like having the headers, having lists, having boxes like this all just helps format the page to look much better so people remain on your site. Then we see the section, how the list was built, all very nicely done, the numbered list. Let's see, the quality of the content. The content of the book should be of high quality in order for it to be considered one of the best. The information in the book should be accurate and up to date, should also be well written and easy to understand. Book's popularity. A book that is popular among web designers is more likely to be considered one of the best. And this is because it is likely that more people have read the book and found it helpful. So you can see they have 10 different factors here. Another key takeaway, reasons for why you should read the book, 4 different reasons. Different types of books, and then the conclusion here. So let's just pick a random one. We all know that reading is important. It helps to improve our writing skills, our grammar, and our vocabulary. So that right there, that's not important for web design. So that would be something that I would change there. But one thing that I like about this is it has this Google Docs style of an editor here. So this is very easy to use. You're already going to know how to use this, and you can simply just make the changes to that. But did you know that reading can also help you become a better web designer? Okay, so maybe they're tying it all in. So let's see. That's right. By reading some of the best books on web design, you can learn new techniques, gain a better understanding of the design process, and find inspiration for your own projects. So why should you read these books? And then it goes into some reasons. So here's what I want to stress. What this actually creates for you in just a matter of minutes is stunning. It's amazing, and probably better than a lot of writers that you'll actually end up hiring, even if you hire some cheap ones or you end up hiring some that actually cost quite a bit of money. At the same time, no matter whether you have another AI tool, if you actually hire a writer or a number of writers, you have to review what is there, and you're probably going to make small tweaks. The way I always look at writing, whether I'm using a tool or I'm actually using a writer, which I do both, then I always look to, can they get me 80%, even 90% would be beautiful, 90% of the way to a fully completed post. And that is exactly what this does, except this just does it a whole lot easier and faster than all of the other tools. And this is doing it probably better than all of the writers, because I don't get mine back all super formatted or with these boxes and stuff right now. So maybe that's something that I have to look at. Now, I also would be reviewing this for depth. We want to make sure that if there's anything that we could go more in depth on, or that would be valuable and helpful to the reader, then we want to make sure that that is covered in here, that we do that. So you might have to come in and add some more examples or get a little bit more specific. Maybe you want to add in a little bit more information or even a review from somebody who's read the book and include that for each one. You could do that. Maybe that could help people decide which one to read. Now, another thing I want to show you, actually a couple things here on the side. We have this beautiful on-page optimization checklist. So this is showing you, based on the other web pages that are ranking in the top results, what keywords that they have within their post. So these are some of the ones that you may want to actually consider, and you can see which ones are headers here. But we can go down here and we actually have a checklist. So this is really great, that before you just copy and paste this into your website, that you can actually check to make sure that it is optimized fully before you go. So is the title the optimal length? So it looks like we might need to shorten that title a little bit. Does the first paragraph include the primary keyword? So we need to go back and double check that. Did talk about web design books, but here it says best books on web design right there, but they're referring to is this right here in this top section here. And it's a primary keyword twice in the first 4 paragraphs. So I don't care about that one as much. I kind of like to see how it fits and include as necessary, include relevant keywords and rephrase those, not using the exact same thing. It doesn't always sound natural. So that's a nice checklist that you have. Lastly, I want to show you over here, there is a brief tab. So if we click on the brief tab, this is actually going to show you different sections from other content that has been written. So for instance, best books to master web design in 2022. Let's see what that's got. So we can see some of the sections here. We just have best books, go here. So now we have more of a section about that. Let's see what's inside. What's inside with these, which could be a good thing to put into our section. What will they learn? What's inside each book? That would be really helpful. So if you get to a spot and you think, you know, I would like to add this particular section. Let me see if there's another one that has another section. So this has a section by books, but let's see if we have any other good sections here. Let's say we wanted this one. Which of these books should you start with? And then it has this whole section about this here. So here's what you can do. You can go over to your post and you find where you would want that to go. So let's say we wanted to add that right here above why you should read these books. Which of these books should you start with? When I click this little plus icon, and this is simply going to start to put a category right here for us. Which of these books should you start with? And then it's going to use the same tools that it used to create this. And then it's going to use the same tools that it used to create this content, the whole post, to recreate this particular section here, and it's going to add a bit more in there. So it's not simply copying what's there and putting that over here. So that is another way to go about adding in some additional sections as you want. And you would simply just click save here, and then it will update the content for you. And then it'll, as you refresh this and come back, it'll update all of the information up here as well. Now let's say that you are looking at this post and you decide you don't like it, you'd like a new version. You don't have to use any additional credits for this. What you can do is simply come here under the brief tab, and you'll see this button for rerun post, and that will rewrite this for you. Now, it's a good idea to offer some additional context, even though this is optional. But the reason you want to do this is if you want something different than what you have, it's a good idea to get a little bit more specific and put in some additional information here. And you'll rerun the post, but it will clear out this entire post. So if you do want to save that post, then make sure that you do that elsewhere. So that is everything that you can do with this. Just to look at this again real quick, I created another one, because this one was actually based on content about a location. And I want to see how that would differ from something more general like what we just looked at. So here we did the best North Carolina beaches that are close to Virginia. So let's go in and see this. Now, one thing that I didn't mention here is this is where you can select the status. So if you are working by yourself and you have a bunch of content and you want to keep track of where you are, or you're working with a team, you can choose between pending optimization, complete, a draft, or pending editing, and update that. So you'll be able to very easily see from your dashboard where you're at with each of these posts. So let's see what we got here. Beaches in North Carolina, close to Virginia. When most people think of Virginia, they think of beaches, but what about North Carolina? Just a short drive down the coast. North Carolina boasts some of the best beaches on the East Coast. So if you're looking for beach day trip from Virginia, look no further than North Carolina. Here are some top picks for the best NC beaches close to Virginia. Now that's probably a relevant keyword, I would guess, as people will type NC instead of North Carolina. So I'd like seeing that in there. So we have our table of contents, and we have a handful of beaches, and then we have a conclusion. Now, one thing I see is Virginia Beach is a beach in Virginia. It's not a beach in North Carolina. So they confused that. But the other four are all in North Carolina. So this is why we got to pay attention to this. So we'll look at that. Now look at this though. They have a click to tweet box. So that's really neat that they just added that in there, and they found some good text for that. Now we have the Outer Banks. So this is in North Carolina. The Outer Banks are a chain of barrier islands off of the coast of North Carolina. They're a popular vacation destination for their sandy beaches, historic landmarks, and outdoor activities. If you're looking for a beach vacation that's close to home, the Outer Banks are a great option. They're only a few hours drive from Virginia Beach, and there are plenty of things to do in the area. Here are a few of our favorite things to do in Outer Banks. They give some things to do. And one thing that I will say is when I actually put in the keyword best beach, what was the best North Carolina beaches close to Virginia, I put in there in the optional box, I put beaches, I put things to do, things to see. So see how this took this, the things to do, and it added that, it created a list there. So that's amazing. We have another click to tweet box. Carolina Beach is one of the most popular beaches in North Carolina, and it's easy to see why. The sparkling ocean water and soft sand make it a perfect spot to relax and enjoy the incredible views. So this just all flows quite well here. So when I look at editing for this, this is where I'm going to go back, and I really like the first one especially. We have a list, we have some things to do. That's probably something I would look to go back and do, not necessarily with all of them. Actually, this one is located in South Carolina, so I'd have to see how close that is to North Carolina to see if that's worth it. Sometimes the location issues is that other posts that are ranking, even though they say they're targeting one particular area, they actually add in a bunch of areas just to kind of beef up their post. So that's why I wanted to test this out here. So I might add in a list of things that they could do. But other than that, I mean, this reads really well here. See, this isn't complete, but I'm just showing you these little things because this is what you want to look for when you're editing. But overall, this is very, very clean, very clear, very easy to read here. So beautiful, beautiful post here. And that's all. Now, One thing I mentioned earlier is that they do include a call to action, and that is also based on the information that you put when you created your project. So here it says, contact us today so we can start helping you plan an unforgettable vacation. Now, I have this set up as a travel site. Information I put in was about travel, so that's actually a good call to action. But if your website is not about helping people with travel, then you can change that call to action there. You can ask them to subscribe or to read another article or anything that you want there as well. So as you can see, we need a few tweaks, but overall, this brings you 90% of the way with a really, really high quality post overall. So now that we've looked at the content, let's talk about some of the pros and cons of content at scale to make sure that this is really a right fit for you. Now, as we've seen, this produces a long form blog post from just a single keyword, and you really just can't find anything else out there like this right now. This is very easy to use with no learning curve required, so you can simply just get in and you'll have your content without first having to go through all of this training just to be able to use the tool. And as the name suggests, you're going to be able to create content at scale. So if you're finding yourself only able to create 1 or 2 blog posts per week, this is an amazing way to be able to scale that really quickly without having to go through the process of hiring writers and training them, hoping they get it back on time, and going through all of their work. I also really like the Google style editor that they have because this is just very intuitive. You already know how to use it. And I really also like their on-page optimization checklist that is just included right there because they want this content. They've written it to help you be able to rank for that keyword. So this is just making sure that you've done everything that you needed to just to make sure that your on-page optimization is really on point and you're going to have a better chance at ranking for that keyword. Now on the flip side, if you plan to publish less than 20 articles, you're probably going to find their packages too expensive for you. However, their name is Content at Scale, and they are really focusing on the people who want to be able to produce more content in a faster amount of time. So if you look at their lowest level package, that starts at 20 posts per month. But if you divide that with how much you're going to be paying, you'll actually find that the cost is going to be the same, if not even less, than if you were to hire a decent writer. And while I like that you can bulk add keywords and you can just get all of your content at one time, it doesn't allow you to add any additional description at this time. So you can't really tailor that at all unless you go in and you add the keywords one by one as we did, but that's not too much of a biggie. And lastly, some people really like to have a free trial for a tool just to test it out and see how it works. But as this does cost them money to actually go in and create all this content because of all the tools that they are using, they do not offer a free trial. However, they do offer a 5-article money-back guarantee. So if you have up to 5 articles written for you and you decide that you don't like them, you don't like the quality, or anything is not working for you, you can request your money back. So that is Content at Scale. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop it down in the comments below and I'll get back to you there. If you enjoy tutorials like this, you'd like to see more of them, don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you next time. Take care.